It's time for the greatest athleticism you've ever seen in your life. The pros and the leagues are shaking in their boots. With all the videos out there of talented bowlers showing their stuff, there's this series, as it is now time to watch me suck at bowling. Welcome to the July edition of Watch Me Suck at Bowling. We are coming to you from what is believed to be the world's oldest candlepin lanes in the world, Putnam Street Lanes, downtown Fitchburg, Massachusetts. And yeah, the guy was right that they fixed this building up. They were doing renovations. This building was butt ugly. They stripped off all the Victorian architecture and left ghosts of its past. And yeah, it looked really, really ugly. So there's where we go into bowl. So next thing is we're going to be up there. I think Putnam Street Lanes is there. I see it in the there it is. I can't see it in the viewfinder, but there it is. Let's go in. All right, we're inside. After going up a long staircase, that window is pointing to is what we're looking at right now, the entry. You got Pepsi machine, a regular machine, $1.50 for that. Old-fashioned machine that doesn't work. That's actually quite normal. Here's the front desk. And we do have a rolling floor up to the lanes, which are right there, but we'll get to that in a second. You got an old bowling pin that apparently has been taken out of service. Got some old stuff here. And very hard to see because of the glare. There we go. An old-fashioned candle pin. I think that's a wooden one, and it's from Brunswick, if I recall correctly. And this place dates back to 1890, so... And there's some merchandise you can get. So this is believed to be the world's oldest candlepin bowling alley. Unfortunately, the equipment isn't, but I don't think anything would actually survive that long anyway. And here's the party area. Got some trophies and retro machines there. Boys room, girls room. Girls was over there. Locker area for people that are in leagues. And I believe there's more lockers back there. And those are the bowling alleys over there. So now let's take a look at that. A little out of order, but it's kind of the way it is. Here we get the 50s Brunswick Gold Crown style seating here. Actually, I don't know if it might even be older or just a different version of it. Or a knockoff, actually. Thought it wasn't exactly Brunswick, but doesn't matter. Seat's the same. And we got this funky color scheme going on because they do glow bowling. So that's why the colors are kind of very strong. Putnam Lanes, there we go. There are the black lights right there that light up everything. And here are the candlepin lanes. The owner says they are probably from the 40s or so. And here's one thing I find quite interesting about these, is normally when you have access points to go behind the machines, they're usually on the very left and the very right. But here, sort of, in the middle. Although that might be something else altogether. And if you've seen my live video from Brian's Bowl Away, you just need to crawl under the masking units to get to anything anyway. So let's just zoom in and look at the masking unit wall. This is the smallest candlepin lane place I've ever been in. Ties for the smallest bowling alley in general, tying with Collins Bowlodrome, the duck pin place in Oh, I'm forgetting the place. And the camera drifted. Bill Ricca. Anyway, we will be bowling from aisle number 5. And so, before we get into more, we are going to go over the list of top bowling scores that have been achieved. Here is the list of the top scores that have been achieved thus far. As you can see in candlepin, our highest score was achieved live at New Palace Lanes at 102. The lowest during the live event at Mason's, which is at a 44. As for duckpin, there's only been one place, and that's Collins Bowladrome Bill Ricca, that I've been forgetting where it was. Got a high of 104, and surprisingly the 106, I mean not 106, the 995, I'm getting ahead there, 65, let's get the number right. 65 is the low, which I thought would go away, but that's still holding on. And now for the big joke known as 10-pin, and here's where the 106 comes in, my best there. And my low was an experimental game which I took the risk of getting said low score to attempt, and that was the two-handed throw, forgetting that balls do get slippery after they go through the oil. So I took the risk and I lost big. So those are the high scores, and it's time to keep on continuing this adventure. Alright, there is a TV running, but I lowered the volume so that shouldn't be a copyright issue. And if he minds, then I don't care if he raises it again. I can always strip audio. We got this old equipment here. Physical reset buttons. Oh yes, and speaking of reset buttons and stuff, my favorite kind of scoring, semi-automatic. The computer does the math, I just put in the numbers. I got absolutely nothing against scoring sheets and what have not. In fact, there's the display there. It's hard to see because of the light coming from the windows. As you can see, at one point they were orange and then they were repainted. Got some wear and tear on them. So let's take a look at the house balls while we're at it. This one gets my attention, but because of that. But that's a patch, and that's pretty good. Got some pretty good dings in there, but not too bad. Some dings in that, not too bad. Yeah, they all have some dings, but they're not really, a little bit of a gouge there. Still not too, that one's a bit questionable. I would do one of these. But we're not going to have to, because of course I use my professional grade Epco urethane Proline bowling balls. So I have something that's fairly professional, and my gaming ability, not so much. And speaking of that, it's now time for those famous words you've been waiting for. It's now time to watch me suck at bowling. Frame 1, ball 1. Ball 2. Ball 3. And that's a 7. And for those of you that like the automatic pin setters, here's the bowl more in action. Holy okay. Frame 2, ball 1. Ball 2. 4 horsemen left and a friend behind you. So far, we're not off to all that bad of a start. We got an okay 7 in frame 1, and a surprising spare in frame 2, taking care of the 4 horsemen and the friend that it was protecting. So far, we've got a total of 17. So what will we get for our bonus ball, also known as El Stinko? Frame 3, ball 1, filling in the spare. We know what usually happens. And there you go. Ball 2. Ball 3. And that's a wonderful 3. We know how that works with spares. Frame 4, ball 1. Ball 2. Plenty of wood. Let's see what we can do. Ball 3. Got 2 over there. That's an 8. El Stinko lived up to its promises with a lousy 1 fill. And that ultimately became a stink frame of 3, and we did a pretty decent 8 in frame 4, bringing us to a total of 29. Thing is, if I forget what frame it is, it's right there. Frame 5, ball 1. Ball 2. Ball 3. Aim. It's a thing I don't have. But we got a 9. Frame 6, ball 1. Ball 2. Ball 3. Those 2 frames really weren't all that bad. Couple of stink balls that have turned up some surprising results. Anyway, we got a pair of 9s for 5 and 6, bringing the total up to 47. Frame 7, ball 1. Ball 2. Unlikely spare. I didn't see that one coming. Frame 8, ball 1. We know what happens. We blow it. No exception. Ball 2. Ball 3. What an interesting way to get a spare in frame 7, followed by El Stinko, the bonus ball, in frame 8, giving us only a 2 for that. Nonetheless, we got a nice 9 for frame 8, giving us a total of 68. So it looks like we're going to get at least a mediocre game. Frame 9, ball 1. We're approaching alright territory. Ball 2. And we have the 4 horsemen left side. Ball 3. And the middle finger of the bowling god remains for a 9. Frame 10, ball 1. Just a few points away from me. Good game. Ball 2. Ball 3. And a 6. Well, I had some good moments and some bad ones. Of course, whenever there's a spare or a strike, something bad always has to happen, and no exception there. However, at the very end, we got what is minimally acceptable according to the ICBA standards, and that's an 85. So that's episode 1 of 4 of Watch Me Suck at Bowling from Putnam Lanes in Fitchburg, Mass. This is George F551 saying hope you enjoyed and have a good one.